Institutionalized racism could be at a place you work, such as the heart. This is how you do it. Show me, man.
You don't do that because you have to need a permit for that.
I need a permit from the office. Oh. Institutionalized racism. Institutionalized racism can be in the school. There we go. Institutionalized racism. Now the thing is, what exactly is institutionalized racism? Well, that's racism. That is racism in any institution. Now, what exactly is an institution? An institution could be an apartment complex, or the office in an apartment complex. I was talking to my mom earlier today. I told y'all we revisited this situation. And I was telling her that these lights by my door was just a bit unnecessary. I was like, you see how it's just 3 of them right here? And I was like, Mom, people be shining the light on my door. And you know, my mother just honestly said, Crystal, you could just be a bit paranoid. I said, you know what, you might be right. I won't argue with you. I won't argue with you. But I was just like, come on now, really? And you know, you just turn around and like, wow. It's like, wow. This building right here. This building. Right there. But I do stay right now. Light here, light here. I'm like, but it ain't no light on that building like down there. Ain't no lights around this way here. Oh, there's lights over there in the parking lot. Why not just fix the lights that are already on the side of the building to make the apartment look like it was originally supposed to? So maybe that's just too much hard and critical thinking. Maybe they just lazy as hell. Either or. But this does look nice, don't it? Oh well, too bad it's just this part. Have a thought. Signing out. See y'all later. Returning back to the scene of the crime, and here is my argument. As I was sitting here drawing, as you can see, I want everyone to see that there is a clear walk path for students. as I was sitting here drawing, a man who works here, a white male, was like, "Can you move your drawing so students can walk by?" And I was like, students still can walk by with my poster right there. So my question is, what was the real argument? Was it because he looked down and he saw my maps of Africa? Was that what offended him? That an African American student had some artistic talent and it did not revolve around Europe? Like, what was the argument? Because clearly students could walk by and it had nothing to do with my cardboard that was in the middle of the floor. So what is the definition of that? Can someone please tell me? Because I would classify that as just racism or prejudice or discrimination. Like, it falls in between one of those categories. And these are the issues I face as a black female, which a lot of people don't understand. So the real question is, what is institutionalized racism? Okay. Well, how can I put this?
I define
From the
family by
information I
childhood
received
memory.
from my racism class,
And it didn't look like our TV. The
institutionalized
nuclear family
racism
in black and white,
is a hidden system
the characters
within
Norman Lear
an
created,
institution
like
that is used to control minorities, to discriminate
raised
against minorities,
in a
and
village
to
of
hold them
members
in
that
a
never
lesser
existed in our
position
Aboriginal
than white.
extended. Of cousins, aunties, and uncles,
And people don't
misters,
understand that
and
it's so
misses,
hard to
and the
define
fellowship and refuge of
institutionalized
elders,
racism because
deacons,
it's
brothers, and
hidden within the
sisters.
institution
A charmed
itself.
childhood
So upon
in a neighborhood
example
known for its
of
blues and vice, where the people living
institutionalized
there
racism
were inconsequential to
would
life.
be
Somehow
if an
made
employee
pockets
of
of
color
love and security on those
had been
cold
working
noon
for
streets,
a
buffered us
school,
through our childhood,
hospital,
made us oblivious to dangers
any
we could meet,
institution
the battles they fought,
for 20
the
years, and
casualties
then
we lost,
a
or what
younger
the price of
employee
our
who
freedom
happens
really
to be
cost.
white or considered
So,
the privileged class
We
comes
grew up
along,
unaware or
and
didn't care or privileged considering our lineage
over
and
them is
took
white.
for granted the advantages
They give the
raised
job
each successive generation
or
with
the
no
position
memory
to
or responsibility of
the
the
younger person
passages,
who
but
is white instead of the
some
person
of
who's
that
been there for 20
DNA
years
still
and
remains
who has the
active, and
experience
I'm the
for the
anomaly.
higher position. Like,
The
that is
throwback memory of
institutionalized
those
racism. Like, that is
experiences
an
in the
example of
flesh that
prejudice,
we
and that is
try
also
to
an
forget
example of bias.
while living with the same threats, caught in the traps of success,
Yeah, like, that's
falling
really
through
what
the cracks of
institutionalized racism
progress.
is. It is
Generation
a hidden system within the institution that discriminates against minorities. And it's hard to fight it because you cannot prove that it is racism. Like, and that is why we need a definition for racism. A clear, crisp, cut definition of racism. And you know, this is my personal definition of racism. Or I just say I just can't be racist. Because racism, to me, well, this is really what racism is. Racism is a way for white Europeans to explain the world around them. And since I am not a white European, racism does not apply to me. And this is why I cannot be racist. Because how I personally define the world around me is by what I feel and see. Ha 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 ha. I don't doubt anyone's intelligence, nor do I associate a quota or a intelligence to a skin color or a gender. And the thing is, that's what white people do, and so they assume that because I have a shirt that says racism isn't a black problem, that I'm doing the same thing that they're doing. And it's like, no, that's your guilty conscience, people. And that's how you feel. So do not attach your feelings to me, because I will show you my feelings. And I have no problem doing that. And that's why racism isn't a black problem. And this is why institutionalized racism needs to be uncovered. And these are the things I've learned in my Africana Studies classes and my racism class. So, thank you for tuning in to an adventure at the University of South Florida. This is Crystal J. Wilson, Eagle Falcon 2055, coming in for a landing. You guys have a blessed day. The University of South Florida has yet to have a black female student body president. Maybe I should run for office. Make some change or something. Because I do not see me up here. Okay, this is what I was saying about institutionalized racism. Great. I applied for a job here at the University of South Florida when I first got here. And as I was in the interview process, you know, the woman who was across from me, she just happened to be a white woman, Anglo-Saxon. Really don't know the difference. I can't really tell, to be honest. But she was a white woman. And, you know, once again, going through the interview process, and she was like, "Oh, you're very articulate." And my argument to that is, I'm a college student. I'm supposed to be articulate. So what were her thoughts behind that? But, you know, just to let you guys know, I didn't get the job. If I did, I wouldn't be doing this right here. But I love doing this, so I'm kind of happy that I didn't get the job. Like, it's been a blessing and a cursing at the same time. You know, I just don't get it. But love the University of South Florida. Go Bulls! This is Florida Hospital. This used to be called University Hospital. And once again, we're exploring the term, or exploring the word, institutionalized racism. Here I had a prime example. Because I was volunteering and because I was not in the female protocol, I didn't get called back to volunteer. It was like it was a whole month. And I was like, what's going on? And I had to actually call people out. Like, I had to write a letter, and I was like, oh, you know, this is discrimination. This is a class act of racism. In order for them just to give me a phone call back to volunteer. And that's what I tell people. I can't even get a volunteer job. So I really don't understand what people are so upset about who got a job. But that is a definition of institutionalized racism. When you walk into volunteer and people won't even hire you because of the way that you look or because of the way that you're dressed. Once again, I was not in the quote-unquote normal female attire. But I did fit the dress protocol that they asked for on their sheet of paper. But I'm pretty sure they did hire the Asian students and the white students and a couple more black students just to shut me up because I actually said something. So it's kind of like I opened the door for some other people, but I didn't get mine. All right, this is once again Florida Hospital. And we are talking about institutionalized racism. Institutionalized racism. Got it? All right. We're walking through the tunnel of oppression. As we enter into the Veterans Hospital. And see, this is what I've been telling people once again. I went to Florida Hospital, and now I'm going to the Veterans Hospital. And it's been about 2 months since the Veterans Hospital. Well, it's been about 2 months since I applied to volunteer at the Veterans Hospital. And I still haven't got a call back. And like, you know, when I go and I ask them, you know, I have not been called back, and this guy's like giving me this face like, ooh, I really don't know why you haven't been called back. Yeah, and I'm like, see, this is once again discrimination. And I feel as though like it's institutionalized racism. Because how can you deny someone the opportunity to volunteer because of skin color? Because I obviously see white volunteers and I obviously see Asian volunteers, And I do see black volunteers, but what's the difference between them and me? So I'm just kind of basically asking people, why is it that I cannot get a volunteer job and I have a higher education? Maybe it's because I have a higher education that I cannot get a volunteer job. Or it could just be because it's me. And it's why discriminate against me? Because I do fall into a black female category. I do fall into another subgroup. And I just fall into a lot of subgroups. And I'm actually at the bottom of the American structure. And this is why I once again say that black people can't be racist. And because I'm at the bottom of the structure, I can't be racist. So yeah, once again, walking through the tunnel of oppression. Or right now, because it's gonna be the same crap. And then when I raise hell about it, it's, oh, you're the angry black woman. And I'm like, you have to be an angry black woman in order to get a job nowadays, or to get at least a volunteer job to do something with your life. And it's like, oh, yeah, the American system is backwards for black people and minorities. Check yourselves. This is the VA hospital. So institutionalized racism can be at any institution. It can be at a hospital. It can be at a school. It can be at a job. It can be anywhere. So after 2 months, I finally have an orientation date on paper. But as you can see, it is April 10th. And it is now March, 15th? Yeah, it's March 15th and it's April 10th. So what's that, almost like another month? So 3 months I had to wait to volunteer at the Veterans Hospital. And that just kind of comes, that's kind of questionable. And one has to just ask certain questions all the time about things that people do. So yeah, have a good one. Oh, we're gonna do it again. So once again, the paperwork I received, and like I said, it's just questionable. It's March 15th, and I gotta wait until April 10th. So that means like I've waited 3 months to volunteer for one organization, and I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. I really do feel like that was a bit of discrimination and racism, but
Yes, may I have the code?
I do have the paperwork, and I've been delayed apparently for some reason. But let's hope everything works out. Right, this is Crystal J. Wilson. Have a thought, signing off. And this is my community right here, as you can see. I be walking, or, oh, excuse me, because I'm using the black vernacular, I be walking, which means I am at this current time walking, because I'm in the present. So it's I be walking, because I'm walking down the street presently. And the people who watch this, who understand the B understands what I mean. Now, here's always been my interesting problem, or my interesting phenomenon of why in the world are there so many cameras in my community? And I always thought to myself, really have, as I'm having the thought right now, maybe I act the way I act, or maybe African Americans act the way that they act because there's always a camera in their community, so they always think that they're on TV. Oh my God, and they're not just like traffic light cameras. No, they're actual cameras on the street, so it seems like they are watching people to me. impoverished community. Like, what is so interesting about us? Are we projects? Are we things to be toyed with? Are we not human beings? And once again, that's institutionalized racism. That's just racism in general. Because I don't see cameras in white suburbia where the police are constantly watching them. And we're going to come to a prime example of cameras in the street in just 1 second. 1 second, you guys. Hold on. Cameras in my community. Oh my God, it's Tampa Police. I think they got another one up here. Look at that. If people wonder why I'm a bit paranoid, yeah. Oh, this ain't the only place that they got cameras too. Hold on. They got cameras also at the street light or on the street light. Got it. On the street light. The writing is on the wall. Can someone please tell me what Bible verse this is? They claim that these are for, let me zoom out. They claim that these are for stoplight purposes. But, yeah. But, I'm not dumb. Like, I know these are like look up and down the streets. Come on now, people. Have a thought. It's a camera. A camera can do a lot of things. And it's not just run a tag. No, it's not just really, guys, have a thought about what the government is doing to the community. Pay attention to your surroundings, maybe? Yeah, have a thought. As we are continuing on the subject of institutionalized racism. Alright. Institutionalized racism is racism that is hidden within an organization. And it's hard to find because it's hidden. You have to know what racism is in order to define institutionalized racism. Now, racism is actually, I'll get back to you when I get done eating because I'm tired. Great, that's Onyx. Now, back to racism. Racism is a hard word to define because people usually categorize it as a feeling and an observation of a feeling. But let me actually tell you what I think. I don't think it exists. I think it was a tool made by European male scientists to define the world around them, and that's why I don't consider it to be a black problem, because white European males created it. So I cannot fix a racism cycle that a white European male created. And in the white European cycle of racism, which has become the American cycle of racism, I am at the bottom, and I am considered the mule of society. And that is the idea of black, and why black is put against white, and why black is the opposite of white. And that's all of the things that is behind institutionalized racism. The racism itself, which is hidden within the institution. I'm tired. And so when I put this video together, it sounded a lot better. But institutionalized racism is racism hidden within an organization, which is a hospital or a store or a place of work. Institutionalized racism is everywhere, but it's hidden, so it is not made obvious for those who do not comprehend it. Alright.